What's up? What's up, everybody? It's the boys from We Talking About Sports.
Yes, sir.
And we're here to talk about NFL Week 13. And as you've known, because everyone got to celebrate Thanksgiving break on Thursday, some of the NFL has come and gone. But boys, before we get into it, want to hear from Ben. Ben was, on his Euro trip, but it's not Euro, but it's,
His
he was in
Euro
South
trip.
America.
I was in a third world country.
Tell us about Costa Rica, Ben. I mean, we saw the snaps, we saw the Instagrams. It looked nice. Tell me.
Yeah, it was cool. Happy to be back in the States for sure. But, 6 days in Costa Rica was maybe one day too much for me. Just a different way of living, dude. I mean, think Mexico, but a little bit like worse, except for the touristy parts. Like, I think the tourists are what keeps it alive. Just one highway, and it's one lane going one way, one lane going the other way, so it takes about an hour to drive 20 miles. It's good for tourists, you know what I mean, but in and out, baby, in and out.
So it's not fully developed as a nation yet, is what you're saying?
No, it's very dark. Also, not street lights. Like it's tough driving over there.
Sketchy roads, anything like that.
I was an Uber driver for our group. We did rent a car because, I mean, you take a taxi, and just to get around there, it's like $120 to get from, the airport to the city we were staying in. So then we ended up renting a car just because you're going to be up and around every day. So you definitely need a vehicle. Everybody gets around over there pretty much by dirt bike and, 18-wheelers. But like I said, it's one lane going one way, one lane going the other way. And you got 18-wheelers, you got everybody. So traffic is a bitch.
I got to ask you, just give me your number one favorite thing that you did there and your number one favorite thing you ate while you were there.
Definitely what we did was when we went whitewater rafting, we hit up a waterfall. Waterfalls are awesome, man. So
Awesome.
When I die, throw me under a waterfall. Just let me float there.
Like the ashes or your whole body? Just like
my whole body, bro.
Over time, your body's going to blow and float.
That's funny. No, but the food, it was a lot of chicken and rice and then side of beans and a little salad. It was called lonche típico. That's pretty.
No plantains? They don't do plantains out there?
Yeah, but I don't do plantains. They do. Their nachos are on plantains. They don't use nacho chips. They use fried plantains.
Yeah. Well, Ron, I know we didn't have the most eventful Thanksgiving that Ben did, but how was your Thanksgiving, bro? What did you do?
No turkey for me this year. No turkey for me this year.
Shit, it was good, man. My son's first Thanksgiving, so we had him running around, going from seeing family to family. We hit a Black Bear Diner in the morning.
I love Black Bear Diner.
Picked it with my wife's family for lunch, and then we ended up with my family. We're huge Cowboy fans, so we ended it over there watching dinner, watching the Cowboys get the dub, watching them close out the parlay for me. Great fucking betting Thanksgiving for me. Absolutely destroyed it. Chicago against the spread was easy money. The Cowboys obviously won. I took them, and then I took Green Bay. So great Thanksgiving overall, man. Can't complain. Blessed. Yeah. Very blessed.
So we know Baby Roman, he's a month old now. First Thanksgiving. How many outfit changes did we see? Because, they got the outfits ready and loaded when they're little like that. What did we see that day?
He only had two. He had his turkey football and cuddles outfit.
There we go.
And then he changed to the full-on turkey fit, like turkey face in the front, feathers in the back.
So no cowboy fit for him that day.
No, he has a lot of cowboy gear, but it's a little.
Or he hasn't decided if he's a Bengals or a Cowboys
fan. Nah, man, he's a Cowboys.
Like his pops, huh?
He's Cowboys fan for sure. Yeah. But his outfits are a little too big, so y'all talking shit. You're more than welcome to get him. So.
There we go. My Thanksgiving was good, fellas. Thanksgiving happened to be my birthday as well. So I got to spend the whole day with family, which is something I'm very grateful for. I love that. So I had a really good Thanksgiving. The plate, was fully loaded, so it was a good time. And on that day, we got to see Chicago and Detroit 23-20. Chicago played Detroit very tough. And at the end of the game, we saw Matt Eberflus just blow the game away again. Bad coaching. And then the result is he is now fired. What'd you think of that game?
I got to see a little bit of it just at a place that had a TV at the bar. And the Lions looked like they were in control early on, and then Keenan Allen got hot. Keenan Allen had a week. Think many people started Keenan Allen in fantasy football. He hasn't been too good. Been having a lot of drops as of recent, but he had a big 2-touchdown game. Caleb Williams played really well. So it ended up being a game, but then you see the blunder at the end with clock running out and you still have a timeout. You don't even get a playoff. You're in field goal range if you're the Bears. They fire their first head coach in season in over 100 years. They had never done it as a franchise in season. This guy becomes the first. I think we had all been calling for it as, Monday quarterback just sitting on the couch watching football fans. You could kind of tell, like, this guy, he just doesn't – it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at this point.
Yeah.
That's what it took was losing the game with a timeout in your pocket and field goal range. I mean, that's horrible. He deserved to go. And we'll see what the Chicago Bears do. I did see that. I mean, obviously, Ben Johnson's going to be a name. And I saw that the Notre Dame head coach does have some interest in that job.
Wow. He's a good defensive coach. That would be awesome for them to get. Ron, Caleb Williams, that was one of your guys that you like for Rookie of the Year. He's lost a lot of these close games that maybe are not his fault. It's kind of on the coaching. Where do you have him at? What does that do for him?
He could have called a timeout there if he was.
Yeah, he has the ability to as quarterback.
Ready as he was, a lot of people came in.
Jaden
Williams would have called the timeout.
That's a coach's responsibility, man. The coach controls the game, and the quarterback controls the players on the field. He's worrying about getting his receivers back to the line of scrimmage. He's worrying about getting the signal from the coach in his ear, making sure, where the first down marker is, how much time is left on the clock. You leave it to the coaching staff. I think he's been getting fucked all year. He's had a lot of drops too. Like you've seen DJ Moore make some drops. Roma Duzier. I don't think they give Swift the ball enough as well. The defense is solid enough for the Bears. But the problem is two things. They start too late, and then their coach is trash. So they're always fucking like 21-0, 14-0. They're always behind at half, and then they turn it up late. And you just can't do that in the NFL. He does hold the ball a little bit too long, but for being a rookie quarterback, I think that he's doing very well. The future is bright for him, and the Bears should have a better record than what they have. 23-20 at Detroit. Should have came out of there with a dub.
I agree. Let's move on to the battle of the backups. We had New York and Dallas, Ron. The two backups. I'm going to go to you first because Dallas, this is your team. This is your Thanksgiving celebration. What's that, 7 in a row we've done it now? The Cowboys have won?
Yeah, I don't really care. We still suck.
Yeah. Should we be tanking more, Ron? I mean, should we trying to get a better pick at this point? Or do you really think we're a viable, like, run to the table and get a wild card spot for a playoff? Like, what's happening with the Cowboys, bro?
Definitely
Tell me.
Not. CD doesn't want to be there. He didn't even play the fourth quarter, whether it was injury, whether it wasn't. He just doesn't want to be on that field. Rico Dowdle did great, but let's face it, it was the New York Giants. It wasn't a great team. You're going to have over 100 rushing, or you should have over 100 rushing yards if you're Rico Dowdle or anybody else facing, the New York Football Giants. It was no hope for me. It's not like we're on a 2-game winning streak. Cooper Rush is the guy. It's just, it was the Giants, dog, on Thanksgiving. We got handed a plate of turkey, and luckily we were at least solid enough to fucking, throw some gravy on that and, get the dub. But it doesn't change anything for the Cowboys. Still terrible.
What do you make of the game, Ben? Backup versus backup, divisional rivalry. Anything to put to this Cowboy win, or is just it's just had to be because it's how bad the Giants are this season?
Yeah, I kind of was just keeping up with this one on the phone. Had Rico Dotto on my bench, man. Couldn't start him this week, but, man, he went off. Saw that he had a game. I saw some complaining about CeeDee Lamb and dropping passes on Twitter.
Yep.
And, in certain group chats. But, as a Cowboys fan, at least you got the win, around family on Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was a pretty shitty game, but, sometimes the Cowboys on Thanksgiving go south when it shouldn't, against the Raiders and teams like that. So it's always good to get the win. The night definitely wasn't the party foul in Thanksgiving Day for Cowboys fans. So
the uncles weren't screaming at the TV as loud as they normally were, so that's nice.
Everybody was worried about their pot numbers instead.
Yeah, we were. We had a big pot going, so that was the thing. Let's move over to the weather game, Miami and Green Bay, where Tua decides he's still not going to wear sleeves. He still hasn't won in the cold, and I just found out it's this week. The reason why Alabama quarterbacks in the NFL don't wear sleeves in the cold is because Nick Saban showed them a study that said quarterbacks fumble at a higher rate when they're wearing sleeves, so that he doesn't allow his players to wear sleeves. So Tua still does not put the sleeves on, and in the cold, he still has not yet to get a dub. Ron, what do you do with that? Like, at some point, you got to say, Saban's no longer my coach, man. I got to just wear these damn sleeves. What do you think?
I mean, I don't even know what to say to that.
That's the analytics guy that needs to get slapped, bro. That's the guy that they say, these analytics nerds, like sleeves or no sleeves. Come on, guy. Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, a lot of players don't even wear sleeves when it's cold anyway. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's like reading way too much into this.
Maybe gloves and no gloves, right? In quarterbacks, because some do wear gloves, but sleeves, get the fuck out of here.
Just wear the sleeves, bro.
He still can't throw it down the field. He still can't push it down the field anyway.
He's from Hawaii trying to play in 50-degree weather. Wear the damn sleeves.
I got to see some of this game too. This was late. It was nice that it was a pretty late game. You know what I mean? Had some football going late into the night. Green Bay, Jacobs looked pretty good. Jake Reed, with the 2 touchdown catches, not too many yards. And then for Miami, man, Jonnu Smith has been going off.
Yeah,
Tyreek found the end zone this week. You know what I mean? But
he forced himself into the end zone. You saw that ball wasn't even for him.
Yeah, it was tipped. But for the Dolphins at this point, I mean, they lose another game. At this point, they kind of got to be thinking like, yes, we're supposed to be better than we are. Tua was just out for that extended time. Haven't been able to find our groove or whatever. But where they are record-wise, I mean, I think they have 2 or 3 wins on the season, if I'm not mistaken. They should probably make a business decision here and look to add something good to a team that already had, at least playoff expectations, in my opinion, because the season's over for them. It's not like they're going to fire McDaniels. He's not fighting for his, coaching job or whatever, to where he needs to maybe string out some wins and show a little bit of hope going into the new season. Here, just tank, get a better pick, top 10 pick where they're sitting right now. They're drafting top 10. That's not a team that you'd have drafting top 10.
So you do not think McDaniel's seat is warm at all at this point?
Nah, hell no.
No, I mean, they're 5-7. They're second in the AFC. They're at second in the AFC East behind the Bills at 9-2. They have similar records to teams like the Colts at 5-7. The Bengals are 4-7. So I mean, if they go on a run, you could see them pass.
We've been saying the Bengals season's done also.
Yeah, so if you see them go on a run, you can see them catch up with teams like the Chargers and Broncos at 7-4 and 7-5. But that's like running the table and getting some help along the way.
Ain't happening.
Yeah. All right, let's go into Friday's game. And some people are calling the Kansas City Chiefs the luckiest team in the NFL because things just keep bouncing their way. And it started that way with the first week of the season when the Ravens tight end, foot out of bounds, doesn't happen. This time, the Raiders quarterback lining up on a go-to drive, they're going to at least win the game with a field goal. Center snaps it. Quarterback's not ready. Chiefs recover. Chiefs win once again in a 1-score game. Ben, what do you make of this going into the playoffs soon? The Chiefs keep getting away with 1-score games. Is this a good look for them because you know what? They're winning gritty games and they know how? Or is it a bad look because you got teams like Eagles and Lions just running up the scoreboard on and boat racing some of these other teams? Man, what do you think, Ben?
I see some Texan slander in the chat, and if anybody's willing to take a friendly wager,
Alex,
I got a friendly wager. I got a friendly wager that the Texans win today. But as a Texans fan, the Texans still have the Chiefs on their schedule, and when I see the Chiefs play, I just think they're so beatable, bro. I understand where their record is, but the record in 1-score games for Patrick Mahomes is insane. Yes, they have a rabbit's foot up their ass, and that's what everybody's thinking. If it's not the refs, it's a center snapping the ball when the quarterback's not looking. Like, where does this happen besides movies, bro? Like, how is someone that stupid, fam? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But as a Texans fan, I see the Chiefs very beatable. They're an upcoming opponent in our schedule, and I'm not convinced on the Chiefs. They're just no big playability. DeAndre Hopkins, a bunch of drops. You don't expect that from him. Kelsey was the only one to have a good game, and that's because they got Pacheco back.
Yeah.
That game as well. So I don't see the Chiefs as a threat. I know that's pretty stupid talk with Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback, but I don't see it, bro.
I hope nobody clips that. You know what I mean, Ben? Because that is crazy to say.
Clip it. I don't see it.
Yeah. I think this is a good test for them. I think it's showing that they can win gritty, and I think in the playoffs, I think they take that step up, and they're the team who's done it 2 times in a row this time. So I don't mind these 1-point wins. I think that actually shows resilience. Ron, what about you?
I'm just tired of everybody, including myself last year, I think it was, doubting the fucking Chiefs, dog. Because no matter what,
you were like Chiefs to miss the playoffs.
I said
1 or 2 years ago. You said that shit.
I literally just said that.
Once they lost to the Raiders last season, everyone wrote them off.
Just last year, like
they don't have.
Man. Stop acting like you've been knowing.
I just said it. I said ever since last year, I was like, they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm doubting them because the roster was different ever since they lost Hill. There's been like a wide receiver revolving door over there. They have D-Hop randomly.
Yeah.
It's just Kelsey has looked good, but not the great Kelsey that we're used to seeing. And regardless of it, they're 11-1, dog. It's crazy. I think the defense doesn't get enough credit over there because of the Mahomes name and the Kelsey name, but the defense is very solid. It keeps them in games. And whether they're scoring 20 points, 30 points, or 40 points, the defense always gives them a chance to win. And then we're going to talk about bad coaching with Eberflus and the Chicago Bears. The opposite side of the coin is, definitely this Chiefs coach who should be first ballot Hall of Famer easily, man. He's very smart, very poised. He's been there before, championship pedigree. That's why the Chiefs are the defending champs.
Bro, it's the Raiders. They shouldn't have been in a sweat against the Raiders.
But they always are in a sweat with the Raiders. They lost to the Raiders last season.
And the kicker missed 3 field goals. Like, come on, bro.
What do you always tell me? Hey, I wanted to smash somebody I don't know when it was.
Pause.
You're like, division game, Ron. Division games are always tough. You never know.
I do get that part, but the kicker missed 3 field goals, bro. Like, that's not a win that the Chiefs should have.
And you as an athlete know that.
If you watch that game, you know that the Raiders should have won that game. But here we are, like, glazing the Chiefs.
Woulda, shoulda, could have, cuz. Like, woulda, shoulda, could have. The Falcons.
It's the Raiders at the end of the day. It's the Raiders.
Falcons should have won the Super Bowl.
Raiders are going to Raider. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's up in the chat? A lot of Texan slander. We got 20 on that game today or what?
Louis in the chat, dog. Louis going to go down to the Eagles today.
Big game for the Ravens. Big game for the Ravens today.
All right, let's move over to today's games. We don't have much time left with Ron. I want to get these in. We got Los Angeles Chargers and Atlanta Falcons. Boys, who do we got in this? Who's the winner here, Ron?
Where are we at? The Falcons and Chargers?
Falcons and Chargers.
Your boy Herbie.
Chargers are solid, and
both his boys, Herbie and
who?
Kirko.
Nah, give me the Chargers on the road here.
And who do we got? Chargers or Atlanta?
I mean, no Dobbins. Dobbins is out, so Gus Edwards is going to be running back for the Chargers. The Falcons are coming off of a bye, 2 weeks to prep for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers coming off a loss to the Ravens. They stepped up, played a really good team. We know that they've been beating some, middle of the pack or inferior opponents. They stepped up, played the Ravens on Monday night. Didn't look too good. It's a lot of time for the Falcons, bro. And they're at home. Give me the Falcons to get the win today.
I'm going to go with Harbaugh getting this dub, man. He's probably excited off yesterday's Michigan win. He's going to coach him up crazy, so give me Los Angeles.
I got the Falcons.
All right. Here we go to the AFC North. We got a rivalry game, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. This is going to be a good one because Cincinnati is on their last leg. I mean, they might be even eliminated at this point. Like, they just got to win. It's win or go home at this point.
They got to win out.
And we got Pittsburgh. We got Russell Wilson and the moon balls coming through. Got a good defense. But Cincinnati can score it. Cincinnati's at home, Ron. You got the hat on. Does that mean Cincinnati's winning?
You already know, dog. You already know. I'm in the pocket like Burrow. I had to say it. Give me the Bengals at home at 4-7, beating the 8-3 Steelers. Steelers coming off a loss. The Bengals are actually favored by 3 points. So that's telling you something as well. Vegas is always right. Give me the Bengals at home.
What about you, Ben? Are we going to ride with the Bengals here, or the Moonballs and Russell going to get it done?
We talk about division games. This is a division game. I think that the Steelers are bullies. I think they bully the Bengals. They're catching 3. Give me the Steelers plus the points today.
All right.
And in a teaser, even better.
Here we go. We got Minnesota with a really good record. I don't think anybody expected them to be here at this point, but they got the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are very, very frisky team, Ben. Who do we got? We got Kyler Murray. Or do we got Darnold?
I'm down for that thing in the chat. I just don't want to have to pay for the Jaguars jersey. Do I get a text? I just don't want to have to pay for the Jags jersey. I don't mind wearing one.
What are the
but
details,
if I do
Alex?
have to pay
how is he
for
going to
it,
get it?
yeah, if I do have to pay for the Jags jersey, if the Texans win today, I would like more than $20. I would like a jersey. And not like a Valley jersey, like a legit jersey.
Not like a Pulga 956 jersey.
Yeah.
He said he has one. He can lend it to you, I guess.
As long as it has an X before an L, El Gran Gayan, I think I could squeeze into it. But what we were on which game?
Kyler Murray going to play Sam Darnold in the surprising Minnesota Vikings.
Hold on, fantasy question alert. Fantasy question alert.
Yeah, we got Luis. Shout out, Coach. He just celebrated a birthday too. I think.
Hey, happy birthday, Luis.
Darnold or Daniels. All of us will have a turn at this one. Right off the bat, I'm pissed. I'm not a fan of Darnold as a Justin Jefferson owner. He keeps throwing the ball to Jordan Addison instead of Justin Jefferson. He is playing at home. That is where you want to start Darnold because on the road he gets pretty shook. But Daniels, I don't think that you can go away from Daniels, especially he's playing the Titans. Titans run D is pretty good. If you're going to get it on the Titans, it's going to be through the air. So I like Daniels as a safer pick, Luis.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Daniels also just because of the loss to the Cowboys last week. They're going to come out at home, and Dan Quinn is going to be focused and ready. I could see them maybe even running up the score. That's how upset they're going to be. And I could see a shootout, though, with the Vikings and the Cardinals. But just the mobility of Jaden Daniels, you could get a rushing touchdown as well. So I think he has a higher ceiling. And that game is at 12 compared to – well, no, both games are at 12, so you'll get your answer right away. But
yeah,
I'd go with Daniels, man.
Let's make it all 3. It's a trio for Daniels here.
Every time there's a fantasy question, we just automatically stop what we're doing.
All right, back to Arizona, Minnesota, Ben. Who do we got
Arizona.
Here?
Give me Arizona. The way that they lost last week to the Seahawks, yeah. I think Minnesota likes to bring pressure, and hopefully Kyler can get out of the pocket and make some do. I did see Underdog NFL on Twitter tweeted that the head coach for the Cardinals, Gannon, said that the passing game today goes through Marvin Harrison Jr.
I want to hear that. I like that.
Yeah, I know some people do want to hear that. I know he's chilling on some people's benches, the way that things have been going. Tyler McBride owners, very happy. He's projected tight end 1 this week, but maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. gets going today. The game is in a dome, so good conditions for a shootout like Ron mentioned.
Ron, who'd you pick here, Arizona or Minnesota? Who's your guys?
Cardinals +3 at 6-5. I think they have to stay in the hunt in the NFC. I wasn't really impressed with the Vikings' last performances. Darnold might be a little banged up as well. And this is just a game to me that Kyler Murray just randomly shows out, right? Mm-hmm. Against teams that he's not supposed to go and be. Yeah, so he's always like hit or miss, and I think this is going to be a hit for him. I think James Conner has a big day. So give me the Cardinals, man, as the dog.
Let's move over to AFC South, Indianapolis versus AFC East, New England. New England trying to figure it out. They got a quarterback. It seems like they got their guy, Ben. Drake May's panning out a little bit in New England. What do you got?
Yeah, we got a fantasy. Ron wants to break straight to fantasy questions. A little defensive question. I like this one. Maybe there's some waiver wire pickups that are better. I don't like. I mean, I don't like these choices. Just the Bills is the best choice based off the way the weather's supposed to be.
Yeah, and the way San Francisco's been playing has been.
Yeah, and they're going to be playing, in the snow in Buffalo. The Steelers against the Bengals. I don't want to go against Joe Burrow.
Fuck no.
Even though I do like the Steelers to score on the Bengals as well. And then the Jets against Geno. Geno really takes it personal when he plays against his former teams. And the Seahawks, they're kind of, in a battle for the division and a playoff, wild card spot. I think the Jets season is done. There's already talks of, Aaron Rodgers more than likely will not be with the Jets next year, but still wants to play football. So I'll go with the Bills in a really bad weather game. Maybe you get like a 13-6 score and, the defense holds up.
Yeah, same. I think Bengals are going to put up. Well, you never want to go against the Bengals at home. And then who was the other one? Jets. I think Geno. Yeah, Geno's going to be on a little revenge tour against.
Jigba's going to eat.
Against his old team. And Jigba's been doing well. I think Kenneth Walker breaks out as well. He's been a solid, but not really had any loud performances. So I think that happens today. Give me the Bills, man. You stop McCaffrey, and nothing else has really beaten you.
Yeah, let's see what
Purdy missed last week, with a shoulder injury. So who says, I mean, I'm not hoping this because he's one of my backups, but in the cold, the shoulder injury is just one hit away from the backup being in, and that was not good last week because they got their asses whooped.
All right, let's move back to the Indianapolis versus New England. We got the old guard with Ryan Richardson, quarterback.
Yeah, this is
new rookie.
Real quick, Justin. I mean, this is Drake May has looked good. This is a 50-50 game for them, one that they could probably win. Yep. Circled on their calendar as a very winnable game, especially with it being at home. But the Colts and Anthony Richardson, he got shamed a bit, for tapping out in the middle of that game and asking for a sub. They went to Flacco, didn't look good. They're back to him. He looks like now he's got a little more something to prove. They're still running him, which I don't mind, but they've looked decent. They've been able to move the ball. I think this is one the Colts also battling for a wild card spot.
Yep.
I think this is one where I got the Colts winning.
That benching him put that chip back on his shoulder, Ben. That was a good call. Ron, what do you think?
Give me the Colts at -2.5. Well, 2.5 is the spread, but I'll just take him to win. Drake May is great. Stevenson hasn't been consistent at all. You can always count on that Patriots D to give you a tough game, but it's their secondary it's their secondary that's struggled a bit. And I think with guys like Mitchell, and who's that other one that's like number 10? Pierce, the other guy, Downs, yeah. And then you have, reliable Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, man. So if you're the Colts, this is one that you have to win. You have to put away at going against a 3-9 Patriot team. And I think they do that.
All right. We got Seattle. Ben talked about Geno Smith going back to his old stomping grounds in the New York Jets, where Aaron Rodgers, honestly, is trying to still prove it to himself at this point because the New York Jets are not making the playoffs. Who do we got here, boys? Because someone's got to win the NFC West. And why not it be Seattle, So, Ron, who do we got?
Give me Seattle, bro. I'll keep it simple at +1.5. I'll definitely take that, instead of the money line. The Jets are just they're fucking all over the place. They really are. The Seahawks defense has come around, dog. They're really playing really, really good football. I think they have a new defensive coordinator this year. And I think it just took them a while to get adjusted. And I think with that great defense against that shitty offense over there in New York, even though it's in New York, they'll come away with a victory.
Ben, what about you? Who's going to take the next step forward
here? Double checking just because I think that the Jets are coming off of a bye. I don't think that they played last week.
I don't think they did either.
I think they did.
Really? Did they?
Because I remember seeing NJ was score.
That's how shitty
last week.
That's how shitty they are. Like the Aaron Rodgers thing just isn't news anymore.
But no, I didn't say the Seahawks didn't play. I said the Jets.
Oh, the Jets.
The Jets.
Yeah, so they're coming off of a bye, and that might be the only reason why. But like I said, two teams going in complete opposite directions. The Seahawks have been coming off some pretty good wins. Last week, a division win against the Cardinals. This is one that you know, the way the seasons are going and the line is so close for a reason, because coming into the season, you would think, you know, the Jets might be favored, but Aaron Rodgers is washed. I mean, you just move him out of the pocket a little bit, and he's probably going to be overthrowing a ball, underthrowing a ball, or throwing it away, you know? So it's Seahawks just because they're going to want it more. They need it more.
Have you all seen Aaron Rodgers' left leg?
I don't like that, though. He is mentioning Seattle going cross country.
Okay.
Early start as well for Seattle.
I put that up there because that's one of the reasons why I took this. I actually took Geno Smith anytime touchdown today at plus 550. Just sprinkled that a little bit in a parlay. But he's for the 1 p.m. kickoff games, he's 5-3. He's averaging 270 yards and 12 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. The Hawks are 4-2 in the last 6 versus the AFC. 13-6-3 against the spread in 1 p.m. kickoff games, and Geno is 4-1 versus his old teams.
I think Geno's going to be ready for this one. It's going to be a question of, like he says, with the travel across the country, is the defense going to take a while to, you know, get going? Like you mentioned, Ron, a little resurgence for the defense, getting some players back from injury. Do they just start off the game? They're usually the 3:30, 3:20 kickoff. Here they are kicking off at noon, going cross country. Just hope the defense is awake early.
All right. Moving over to the Tennessee Titans, fresh off a divisional win against Ben's Houston Texans. So they're a little bit frisky
and here
right now.
I am in uniform.
Here they are believing.
Like the clown painting himself in the mirror.
And they got the Washington Commanders under new leadership, Dan Quinn. You know, a little bit of revitalization in Washington. Ben, any struggle for Washington tonight or today at home?
At FedEx Field at home, this is a must-win for them. You know, sitting where they are, the wild card spot. They might have a shot at the division. I think the Eagles have either a 1-game lead or a 2-game lead for sure on them. But I mean, for them, this is one they got to have at home. Like, you can't stumble up here. The Tennessee Titans' run defense is pretty good. I expect Daniels to have some success through the air. Maybe a Terry McLaurin week.
Yeah. Ron, what about you? Divisional game, like you mentioned. No, not divisional game. Who do you got here? Tennessee or Washington?
Give me the Commanders, man. They're tied for the highest spread on Sunday. I think it's -6. I mentioned them earlier. Dan Quinn's going to have them ready. They had a shitty performance against Dallas. They're going to want to show out. Their running backs are a little banged up. I think Eckler got a concussion the last game, and then Robinson was banged up.
Eckler to the IR.
Before that.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, that's the only thing that troubles me is their running game, man. But that's just more reason for your boy over here to run Jaden Daniels for fantasy, because he'll probably be rushing a little bit more this game. And they're going to focus on the pass. Ben said it. I think they need to get Scary Terry involved a little bit more. And it is the Titans. I mean, do you really trust Levis, you know, to get the ball to his receivers? And
not
Tony
2 weeks
Pollard,
in a row.
Yeah, Tony Pollard has been good, but I think that that Dan Quinn can set something up to stop that running game over there.
All right, AFC South.
Edgar says Big 45 is back. They're the Redskins. Man.
Oh, shit.
Oh, he's like Ack, huh? Edgar's like DJ Ack. Let's go back to September 29th, where we had the first matchup of this divisional game, Jaguars and Texans. Texans pulling off that divisional game 24-20. Ben, this time you guys are on the road. You're in Jacksonville. You got to see these boys in the dirty.
Yeah.
What's
I hope
happening?
A lot of Joe Mixon today, coming off
Hopefully
a really bad game. I think Joe Mixon gets in the end zone at least twice. I haven't even looked, but his anytime touchdown's got to be at least -200. A lot of Nico Collins. They got to get back on track. That's why, I mean, I know that they're small favorites. They're like at 3.5 now. So it's not, I know Guyan was in the comment section saying they probably lose. That's maybe, you know, just, I don't know why he's saying that. But
he's a Jags fan.
Oh, he's a Jags fan.
Yeah.
So that's why he's saying that. But
-3, Texans.
The same way that we said all these other teams got to have these games because they're playing inferior opponents. Yes, they do get Sunshine back for Jacksonville today. Hoping that means a big game for Ingram at tight end, who's kind of been suffering since Lawrence has been out. But, I mean, Houston's got to win this game, especially with Lawrence first game back. You know, he's maybe shaking off some rust. You know, Edgar in the comments, I've had some talks with him, you know, saying, hey, bro, me and him kind of said we might start this tradition where we just go see a playoff game every time that they go. We went last year, and I told him, hey, for sure we got to go to the first one this year because even with the Texans, I don't feel like they're elite. You know what I mean? You don't let Will Levis score 30 points and lose to the Titans, and not ask some serious questions. Like, you got to be realistic. But you can't lose to the Titans and then lose to the Jags in back-to-back weeks. There's no fucking shot that happens.
You got to beat up
Texans
these AFC
win.
South guys. You know what I'm saying?
Will beat them up today, bro.
You got to,
the Texans
bro.
will beat them up.
Joe Mixon to score a touchdown minus 251.
Come on.
Joe Mixon
2 touchdowns, probably like even money.
2 touchdowns plus 200, 3 touchdowns plus 1100. He's done it several times in his career. He had like a 5 touchdown.
I need him to play the way he played against the Cowboys, bro. I need him to carry me today in fantasy, bro. Last week was he cost me. He cost me last week.
But for real, the Texans should dominate the Jags, bro.
Look, the Jags have
another coach.
But here's the thing, Ben. I don't want to hear you say next week if the game's close. I don't want to hear you say divisional game because if you're not going to give enough leash for the Chiefs, I don't want to hear you give leash for the Texans.
The Jags have quit, bro. They are roadkill.
Okay, I agree. So they better slap them around like roadkill.
They're the worst team in the league. All the talent that they have, ETN, Lawrence, Ingram, they got talent, but they suck, and their coach should be the next one fired.
I'm gonna go with the Texans here as well. If you lose to a fucking team that's 2-9, like you do not deserve to be. Especially people buying your jerseys and wearing them on shows and shit. Do not. I want to know who's gonna buy. I want to know who's gonna buy the tickets to the playoff game. Porque yo sé que Edgar trae.
If they go to the Edgar's got that Doge. Yeah.
Doge got cash, bro.
Edgar's gonna buy it in Doge for sure.
Ooh, he's the money man.
Edgar's got as much Doge as Elon. Just know that.
They might be the same guy. I never seen them in the same room together, so you never know. Let's move over to the first 3:00 game: the Rams versus the Saints. Ron, what are we gonna do here?
Give me the Rams.
All right.
I feel like I've been saying this for every team in the division because that division's up for grabs. And I mean, the Rams are in there with the Cardinals. They're in there with Seattle. They're in there with the Niners.
NFC West up for grabs.
The Rams got to have this one, dude.
Yeah, too many wide receivers hurt for the Saints, man. They can't do everything.
Stop Kamara, stop Taysom Hill, and make Derek Carr beat you. And if Stafford can't beat Derek Carr, then this is time to wrap it up for the Rams this year also.
All right, I agree. Let's go over to the NFC South, a divisional game.
They're short dogs too.
The Buccaneers versus the Panthers. We got a divisional game coming up here.
Who do we like? All division games at this point.
Yeah, I see points in this one. I mean, the Eagles and Baltimore is not going to be a division game, but I like points in this one. I think that, Tampa Bay is going to – Mike Evans is back. Bucky, what's his last name, Ron?
Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving is a must-start this week in fantasy.
Shout out Irvin Taylor.
That segment. Yeah, shout out Irvin Taylor, even though them Aggies lost. And
that's why I was hoping you were gonna get that one
on Instagram since the Aggies lost. But shout out Irvin Taylor. I like Bucky Irving as like a must start this week. I think that he gets in the end zone, if not twice, he gets in there once for sure. I like points. I think that
46.5.
Even Carolina, they've looked decent the last couple of weeks. They've looked like they can. Young has been moving the ball in offense. It's kind of slowing down for him a bit, I guess you'd say. And Leggett has found his way into the end zone.
OG Adam Thielen.
Yeah, Thielen's back. So the one thing I don't like, Sanders, their tight end, had been pretty good. Number 0, he's concussed.
I thought he was going to die on the field the way he landed on his head because that was nasty work.
That dude had been balling. But no, Tampa Bay should win here. I do like points in this game, though.
The Longhorn, so I wanted him healthy.
46.
Who do you got here real quick?
The points. You know me, dog. You know who my guy is.
Baker.
Baker.
That Baker swag.
They're 5-6. Isn't that so shitty how well they've played all year to be 5-6, man? Hopefully they get the dub. Hopefully they can make a run for the playoffs in the wild card because you got to root for guys like Baker. -6.5 is kind of tough just because the Panthers have been playing so well. Pulled off the upset a couple weeks ago, but give me the Buccaneers. You would have to parlay it on a money line, but straight up.
Overs.
Give me the
All right.
Bucks.
Yo, is
46 and a
Lou
half
still here in
over.
the chat? Is Lou in the chat? Because here we're going to talk about it. This is the best game of the early slate. We got Baltimore and Philly. I mean, these are two for sure playoff teams, and these two teams could be in their championship games at the end of the playoffs here. So I'm going to talk about Baltimore and Philly. Ben, who do we like? We got Baltimore at home. What are we thinking?
I mean, this is going to be playoff atmosphere. We know the Baltimore's run defense is really well. Let's shout out Yosh too. Yosh was contemplating. I don't know what he decided on. He was contemplating benching Saquon Barkley this week.
That's craziness.
Thinking of. I know the matchup is tough.
Come on, Yosh.
But Saquon is just auto insert. He was thinking about putting McCaffrey in over him with Kamara. I think that you just got to start Saquon, but I seen a stat about Lamar's record against the NFC, and it's chingles of wins to like one loss. I like them at home. I think they have the coaching advantage.
23-1, right there.
23-1.
Yeah, they say the only thing with Lamar is he just doesn't beat the AFC teams, but the NFC teams he whoops ass. So that's the thing.
And they're at home. Like, this is a spot for them. They're coming off, that Monday night win against the Chargers, who I think is a tough team. The Eagles' defense has been playing a lot tougher, I will say. But they're going to have to win on the arm of Jalen Hurts today. And I still have serious questions about the arm of Jalen Hurts. So I'm going with the Ravens to win the game.
Me too. Put me down for the Ravens. Ron, I'm going to send it your way. The Ravens or our NFC East foe, Philadelphia, getting it done today and Sunday.
Fucking tough, huh?
Yeah, this is the game to watch, bro.
I think Ron likes the Eagles, though.
This could be a rematch later on in, early February. You never know. So
I mean, guys are setting it up to be Saquon versus Henry, two of the best rushers in the league right now. For sure, top two. Let's just call it what it is. Ravens' run defense is incredibly good, and their secondary is trash. But lately, the secondary has been coming around. So even if you put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands, which you want to do, because I don't know, is Devonta Smith back?
I think he might be back. Yeah.
I'll look while you finish your take.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to put it in Jalen Hurts' hands, man. And going to this is what worries me here is Baltimore doesn't start off, to me, when I've seen games. They're not a team who comes out and gets leads right away, but they're good enough to come back on you, which is what they've done. I don't know if you get in a hole versus the Eagles if you can just come back on the Eagles like that, because you have Saquon Barkley who's going to keep the Eagles' time of possession up, and they're going to move the ball. That offensive line is really, really good. The spread, I think, is 3. So I'm on the Philly plus 3 all day. That's what I'm taking. Straight up winner. I'd even go for Philly because we've seen what Lamar does in big games, and I think this is a big game, and I don't know if he's...
So you go 23-2 against NFC, not 24-1.
The last update for Devonta Smith was 13 hours ago, and it said game time. Brock Purdy, right shoulder, will play, isn't 100% healthy for that one coming up.
The play that I have for this game, and I took it, is under 24 in the first half or under 21. Fuck, I don't know what it is, but whatever. 24.5. I think that the defenses are going to be really good and are going to be underrated because of all the talk is going to be about the offensive weapons. But I think the over-under is 50 or 50.5, but I'm going to lean on the first half under. So if you don't want to pick a side, the first half under in this game.
Josh, the chat is telling you no benching Barkley today. They think you should still run with Barkley.
Yeah, and we gotta wrap this up because it's 10 minutes till kick, and there's a few tweaks. So let's get by this last one, and maybe Monday night we can cover tomorrow.
All right, last one here: San Francisco Sunday Night Football. Someone's got to win the NFC West, but they're going up against Ben's old team, the Buffalo Bills, playing in snow. We know San Francisco doesn't see snow. Ben, make it quick, make it short, make it sweet.
Yeah, San Francisco traveling. We just saw that, Purdy isn't 100% healthy. It just takes one hit for the backup to be in there. It's Buffalo at home in the snow. I see a lot of Dalvin Cook, a lot of Josh Allen on the ground. Personally, I'm benching Jennings, who I think is the 49ers wide receiver 1, for Darryl Mooney. I see Mooney question in the chat. I'd go Mooney over Wilson, Yosh. But yeah, I like the Bills here. I think the Bills win actually kind of comfortably. I think the Bills bully the Chargers here in the snow. These guys from the Bay in the snow, it's been some nasty weather in Buffalo. So I think this is similar to that Dolphins and Green Bay game.
Yeah, those Cali boys ain't gonna have it going to the East Coast, man. Bills Mafia is gonna show up. They're gonna be loud, and the MVP, who I think should be MVP this year, Mr. Josh Allen, is gonna do work. So give me the Buffalo Bills. I believe it's -6, 6.5. But see, this is something where I could maybe parlay the Bucks and the Bills and kind of just see what that pays out.
Bosa's not playing today, Eddie says. And if Bosa's not playing, who's rushing on Josh Allen, really?
I changed my mind, -6.5, just because Bosa's out.
You gotta
and Eddie also said Devontae Smith is out. So clearing some stuff up for us. Thank you, Eddie. We appreciate your contribution, sir.
All right, boys. You got 10 minutes to set your lineups. Let's get it done. Anything else from us today before we sign off here?
Nah, just glad to be back. It was just a little freestyle show, but I love talking sports with my boys.
We should be back Tuesday night, probably around 7:30, once the new playoff prediction rankings go out. I know me and Ben, probably Roland, probably Ron. We'll get into it.
And we got UFC pay-per-view coming up this week also, so you'll definitely be seeing us at least once or twice this coming week.
Twice would be nice, but maybe even,
we just got the re-up, so we just got the re-up.
The re-up just hit, you know what I mean?
The yearly re-up.
Yeah. All right, boys. We appreciate everybody that tuned in. We'll see you soon. Peace.